Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bri. I'm a licensed mental health therapist, and I've done a couple reaction videos to some of the DID stuff that's been going on. My main objective is just for people to get accurate information. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to diagnose anybody. I just really want, the average person coming to YouTube looking for information about DID to get something that's accurate. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of history about myself and a little bit of my thoughts on DID. So just to get started, I've worked in various forms of trauma treatment since about 2009, and I've worked with victims of domestic violence and their families. I've worked with child sexual abuse victims and their families. I've also worked with child sexual abuse perpetrators, meaning a child that has been abused themselves and they then are now acting out sexually towards other children. I have worked with substance abuse. I have worked with all sorts of disorders. I'm now in private practice, so I see a little bit of everything. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the things in regards to DID that I just think is important for everybody to know. If you were to go on YouTube, you would think that DID is really common. It seems like there are a lot of systems out there. But guys, what you have to remember is there are, 7 trillion people on the planet and X amount of channels on YouTube. I'm not saying any of the channels on YouTube aren't being honest. I'm just saying that you may be watching a disproportionately large amount of DID videos and thinking that DID is very common. It's not. At least in my experience, it has not been. I have only come across, in all my years of trauma too, so you have to keep that in mind, all my years of trauma, I've maybe come across 3 or 4 people that had actual diagnosable DID. Now, not to say that there aren't other dissociative disorders that you can have, because dissociation and dissociative disorders run on a spectrum, DID being the most severe. So if someone has DID, that means they have the most severe type and form of the disorder. But there are other disorders along this spectrum too. So if we go all the way to the other side, we have depersonalization and derealization disorder. Now, this would be the least severe of the diagnosable dissociative disorders. Say that 10 times fast. Then in the middle, we have dissociative amnesia. So that's kind of middle ground. And then at the far end, like I said, is dissociative identity disorder. So although people may exhibit signs of dissociation and they may have some of the criteria that would meet the diagnostic criteria for dissociative identity disorder, they may actually have something lesser. Now, keep in mind that someone with dissociative identity disorder can also encompass some of the traits of the lesser diagnoses. In regards to people thinking that they have DID, I got a lot of questions on this, and I just think it's really important that we don't jump to the worst case scenario. In CBT, we call that a cognitive distortion, and that would be catastrophizing. And right now, I think would be the worst possible time to catastrophize given the circumstances that we're all in, all over the world. We don't want to jump to the worst possible conclusion. As a good diagnostic clinician, we should be trying to rule things out, not come up with a million different diagnoses. What I would want to know is there any substance abuse involved? Substance abuse can mimic disorders, and it can also aid in us dissociating in general. Now, I got a lot of questions on dissociation, and let me just put it to you this way. If you've ever driven a car, you will understand this analogy. So, have you ever gotten in your car on your way home from work? You're going home, you're going a route that you've taken a million times, and you get home and you're kind of like, I don't really remember the drive. Like, you know that you made it, you know you didn't get in an accident or anything like that, but you don't remember the details of it. That is a mild form of dissociation. So congratulations, you have dissociated too, since it seems to be a trend. But in all seriousness, every single person dissociates sometimes. Have you ever just been in class and you kind of like zone out for a few minutes? You know you were sitting there and you know that time went by and you know that like the teacher was teaching or someone was talking, but you can't quite remember the details. That's a form of dissociation too. Now, if you have these things, it doesn't mean that you have any sort of disorder. It just means that you're a normal functioning human being, and sometimes our brain just has like little glitches in it. Overall, our brain is the most amazing thing in that it has resources available to it, such as its ability to dissociate when there is severe trauma, as to dissociate the person from the trauma so that they can survive. So I mentioned substance abuse as something that I would want to rule out. Another thing I would want to rule out would be anything medical, including any sort of neurological disorders or diseases, any sort of epilepsy or seizures, brain trauma, dementia, anything of that sort that could be interfering with our brain's way of processing and then forcing us to dissociate more than the average person. Once all of those things were ruled out, then I would start looking into psychological diagnoses. So I would also want to rule out things like anxiety disorders and bipolar disorders and schizophrenia and schizophrenic disorders. A lot of these things have very complex and very similar diagnostic criteria. They overlap a lot. So you have to make sure that you know the actual diagnostic criteria for each one. And that's what your therapist is there for. That's what we went to school for. I mean, we went to school for a lot of different things, but that's one of the things that, you know, in order to get your license, you have to take, you know, a board certification knowing all of the diagnostic criteria for all of the different diagnoses. Now, do I use all of the different diagnoses on a regular basis? No. And especially because I've come from a very trauma-focused background, there are going to be the ones that I use over and over again, PTSD being one of them. I can't tell you how many people I've diagnosed with PTSD because of the nature of the work that I do a lot of the time. So I'd like to make more videos on other topics such as personality disorders or dissociative disorders other than DID. So please tell me down below if that is something that you would be interested in. Now, I want to take a quick breather in the middle of this video. I know that things are hard right now, guys, and I am feeling it. I think everybody's feeling it, and I just think right now is a good time for us all to band together. There's a lot of very egocentric, self-mindedness going around, such as, and I say this because of the activity that I'm seeing in the world, people hoarding massive amounts of things in their house when some people don't have anything. You don't need 75 packs of toilet paper. You just don't. And people having to wait in line for hours and hours and hours at a time to get basic needs and necessities when we're not supposed to be congregating. We're not supposed to be around people. So we have people lined up for hours. Like, how is that helping anything? Also, if someone has to go to 7 stores in order to find one product that they need, infecting possibly everyone and everything that they touch. So let's just start being kind to each other. We need to work as a team. We need to help each other. So to do that today, as a small token of my appreciation for everyone who watches my videos and supports my channel, I am going to be doing a small giveaway. Now, once I came up with this idea, I went on Twitter and I saw that Jeffree Star was giving away $30,000. Now, I can't give away $30,000. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not wealthy like Jeffree Star, but I feel very wealthy in that I still have a job. And even if I can't see people in office, I can still do telehealth and things like that. So my life as of right now today has not been affected super negatively the way that other people's have when they've lost their job and they don't know how they're going to pay their rent or their car payment or basic things. So I want to do my part and give back, and my way of doing that is I'm going to be giving away $200 to one of my subscribers, and all you have to do in order to qualify for the giveaway is leave a comment down below, and of course give me a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to my channel. So I will be announcing the winner of that on Friday. And I just really want to be able to do, I know it's not a lot, but I think to some people it would be really helpful. It's enough to, you know, pay your electric bill. It's enough to pay your cell phone bill and water bill or something like that. So I just want to be able to do a little bit of something. So make sure that you leave your information as far as some way to contact you, whether it be Instagram or an email address or something, so that I can get a hold of you if you actually win. And good luck to everybody. And again, I know it's not a big thing, but I just want to give back a little bit because you guys have been so receptive and so amazing throughout this whole process of me starting my channel. I've only been on YouTube for about a month, so I really appreciate all the support that I'm getting. So getting back to DID. So I have watched Trisha's most recent videos. As a clinician, the thing that sticks out to me the most for her is I agree with her in that she says she clearly has mental issues as far as mental illness or mental struggles. I agree with that. I don't think that we should ever discourage anyone from seeking help or discourage anyone from thinking that there could possibly be something wrong with them. So what I urge Trisha to do is to reach out to a mental health professional and receive additional treatment. I know that she said that she has had treatment in the past, and I know she said she was going to therapy for a while. I just feel like that is something that she needs, instead of using the internet as her personal diary, which is perfectly fine if that's what you want to do, that you totally have the right to do that. But in doing that, as she very clearly stated in another video, you're opening yourself up to tons of criticism, which I think is just kind of fueling her downward spiral. So I would encourage anyone who's feeling some of the things that Trish might be feeling to reach out to a healthcare professional and get some actual help, not just reaching out to people on the internet. That's why therapists have therapists. We don't just go to our friends, you know. Well, most of my friends are therapists, so maybe a little bit of an exception for me, but you know, we don't go to our friends, we don't go to random people in a bar to tell our woes to. Well, I mean, we do, some people do, but it's not the best and most effective way of treatment. So I wish her the best. I don't know what's going on with her. I wouldn't know that unless she was my actual patient, and she definitely has some complex things going on. But again, going back to my point before, we need to stick together. So her coming after dissociative and saying that people are bullying her, I'm not saying that they're not, because I read some of the Instagram stories that she posted. I hope that everyone is banding together, and we don't need to be looking at our differences. We need to look at our similarities. We're all going through something. We're all having to make exceptions for things. We're all having to change our day-to-day lives. So let's be kind and compassionate to other people and be nice. Right, Bernie? Right, Bernie urges you to just be nice to people. And that said, I definitely want to encourage good behavior. So I want to give a shout out to this subscriber for this lovely comment. I really do appreciate it so much. And I do try to read all of your comments and respond if I can. I want to be able to shed light on my thoughts about the things, but again, like, let's try to rule things out instead of piling things on when it comes to diagnostic material. I'm not making these videos to diagnose anyone. The only people that will get a diagnosis from me are the people coming to my office to meet with me privately. I hope you have the best day. I'm gonna do more videos on dissociation. Sorry if this video was kind of all over the place. I just want to get a feel of what you guys want to see, and I just want to give a quick response to the stuff that's been going on in the last couple days. And remember, please, to go out and give someone a compliment today. It'll make you feel good, it'll make them feel good. And remember to vote for Bernie. Did I say that out loud? All right, guys. Take care, and I will see you later. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and enter the giveaway down below by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and leaving a comment down below. All right, guys, take care. Bye.